Welcome to SK Hobbies AZ, and I am Stitch. And on this episode, I ended up taking a second job so I could build an RC. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. All right, well, welcome back. So I ended up taking up a second job, kind of a part-time job, and decided I wanted to build an SCX6 Honcho. And in order to do that, those things are expensive. So I wanted to do mine differently. I know there's some upgrades that people do to them, and I kind of wanted to incorporate some of those aluminum upgrades into this mix and replacing the electronics. So I decided I'm going to build mine completely from scratch on this episode. So what we're going to build this episode is the basic roller. Now, I have everything in this box, and then I got some right here of everything we need to build the roller portion of this rig, except for the rims. They have not come in yet, so when they do come in, I'll show those to you as they come in. But let's kind of dig in and see what we got in the box here. These parts I got from Jenny's RC, and these are the axles. So I'm going to stay with the plastic axle housings and everything, so at least for now, and then maybe we'll upgrade later. But I got the front axle. We've got the rear axle right here. Also in this kit is all of the drive shafts for the axles, or the axle shafts. And it has the knuckles in here too. We've got the out drives for the drive shafts. And then we have a set of the stock differentials for the front and the rear. So we have all of that. That's one of the components we got from Jenny's RC. Next is we got a complete plastic kit from Jenny's RC. This has all the sliders in it. It has for the batteries. It has the front servo tray, and it has all of the plastic chassis braces for the front, rear, the uppers, and all of that. But we're going to be upgrading those to aluminum on this episode, and I'll show those to you, what we got here too. And it also had the shock towers in here also, which we did get aluminum ones, and I'll show you that. But we just got the plastic kits off of Jenny's RC. I got a set of the Honcho's front and rear bumpers. These ones already have the LED lights installed in them, even though I'm going to be ordering an actual LED kit when we do the body to do that. So we'll end up with some extra LEDs because this one already came with some of them in it. Next up is the transmission. So I got a complete transmission from Jenny's RC to start with. You'd spend probably about twice as much trying to build this bad boy from scratch. So I went ahead and I bought it from Jenny's RC. I'm going to actually take it apart. I'm going to re-grease everything behind the scenes before installing it. And I'll come back during stages, but we'll talk a little bit about that. This does have a 2-speed transmission right here. You can see the little actuator for the 2-speed. So we have that. This is the stock spur gear that I got from Jenny's RC. Got a set of the stock Honcho drive shafts. So we'll get those installed. We have the chassis rails. This was actually the first thing that I bought, was these chassis rails. So we'll get those put together and start building this. I believe this is the last thing, but I got a set of the shocks from Jenny's RC. And so we'll get these. I'm going to rebuild them completely, get fresh fluid in them. Now, I know that everything you get from Jenny's RC is primarily, it's brand new. They basically buy an RC, disassemble it down, and then resell out the parts. But that's pretty much what we got from Jenny's RC. And at the end of this, we'll break out the spreadsheet and show you how much all of this costs to get what we're building and moving towards what we're going to eventually have. So what else did we buy? So linkage. We've got a set of the upper links from Trail RC. We went with the titanium version. So we got a set of upper links. We got a steering link set from Trill, and we have the lower high clearance links from Trill that we're going to get installed on this bad boy. Next, from Bauhaus RC, we've got a set of their slipper plates, so we're going to get those swapped out when we put the slipper in the transmission. Oh, I missed this from Jenny's RC. So I did get a stock motor mount plate right here. We're going to install this, but I think eventually we're going to upgrade this to, I haven't decided which direction I'm going to go with it, so we'll eventually upgrade it in a future episode. We got a set of Endura brass hexes for the wheels, so we went with those ones, and I went with these ones because they come with the pins. A lot of the ones that you buy that you can get, you know, brass upgrades for those hexes, they don't come with these pins, and I didn't want to have to buy an actual set from Jenny's RC and then buy this set to spend more money. So I found these Endura ones, and we're going to get those installed and try them out and see how those work. All of those plastic lower plates, support brackets, and everything I got off of eBay, and I'll put a link in the description to all of these parts of where I got them from. But we've got their aluminum versions. They were a lot cheaper than buying you know, the Trill ones, or buying the ones from Integy, or even getting the ones from Vitavon. So those ones are really expensive. So we got, this is the rear, or the front. This is the center, and this is the rear plates that support in between the chassis. So we're going to get those installed instead of the plastic one. I also got, from the same manufacturer, I got the front and the rear bumper mounts. So these are aluminum. So ultimately what we're doing with all of this aluminum is we're going to stiffen that chassis up. So make sure that's stiff. The only thing I didn't get is the electronic servo mount that goes in the front. That's still plastic. We'll eventually upgrade that. I also got, for the skid plate, I got one of the aluminum skid plate covers, and then also ones for the front and the rear differential on the axles, right? Got those skid plates. So we're going to get those installed too. I have, going from the same manufacturer that we bought all this aluminum from on eBay, I also bought the aluminum shift servo mount that goes on the back of the transmission. And I actually have the servo I'm going to use. I have a Raw 500 by Reefs RC that we're going to be dropping into this bad boy to do our shifting, only because this is, I had a spare one sitting around. This is what we're going to install in it for now. And then the last thing is the aluminum shock towers. So I have a set of the front and rear aluminum shock towers right here that we're going to get installed into this. And then that pretty much, that's it that's in this box. Now I was telling you guys I don't have the rims, but I do have the tires right here. And these are the tires that we're going to put on them. They are the biggest tires you can get for it. And these are Proline's Baja Pro X's. These things are huge. Look at the size of this tire. That is pretty big. I don't have a stock tire to compare this to, but hopefully my new inserts for these will come in before I install them. If not, we'll take care of that in a later video. But the idea behind this is I'm going to do this in a series of videos on building this. Primarily now is starting to build the roller, and then from the roller we're going to move into installing and building the body and getting that mounted up. And once we get that done, then we'll start working on electronics, and we'll see how many more episodes after that, because we're going to do some upgrades to this once we get it done. But all right, I'm going to get to building. I'll come back once the roller is all put together, and I will talk to you guys about how this went. All right, status update on the build. So we've got this much done so far. This thing's huge. So some of the things we ran across with an issue is the aluminum rear bumper mount. This one was supposed to be universal for the JUL and the Honcho, and it did fit on the back, but it is designed to install a bumper on the rear. I put the Honcho one on here because there's LED lights there, and so we're just using the plastic one back there. Other than that, we've got the aluminum shock towers here, the upper brace, the lower brace. Kind of the difference is there's two pieces for the aluminum ones I got. You have this piece here, and then you have the bracket that's right here that puts the battery holder right there. The original one is one piece that kind of sets in there, kind of sets in like this, and then you mount your battery there. So they didn't attach all that together in this. It is two pieces, which we got that in. I don't know whether or not I'm going to use the battery here, being that we have battery mounts right there. I am going to run this off of one battery, and then I'll have a spare battery on the other side to kind of even out. For the front, we got the shock towers on, and we have the upper mount aluminum bracket right here. We have the upper aluminum bracket right here. I did just kind of attach the cover, even though I don't have electronics in. The front bumper mount mounted up pretty good. You can see right there. And then I have the front bumper installed. Transmission wise, I took it all apart, cleaned out all of that, what is silicone grease that they put in there, and then put in some of my green marine grease throughout it, and it is buttery smooth. We've got the new motor mount installed right there, and then we're going to start working on building the front and the rear axles and the shocks and get the links installed. So you guys stay tuned and we'll get back to doing that. All right, well, welcome back. So we've got the entire roller built, and we'll talk about some of the other parts. You notice I've got the wheels and tires mounted. The roller is complete. Like, the wheels are turning. It is nice and butterly smooth. Well, let's talk about it. So these rims that I have, I got off of eBay, and I'll put a link down in the description. I did have to order them from China, but they were $84 for all four of them, and they are very well built. I don't have any complaints about them. They went together really easy. They've even come with these little caps that go right here. You can see those caps right there that you kind of screw in with Allens that hold right over the top of your bolt, so you don't have to worry about it. So if the bolt falls off, it's going to probably just be loose in there. I noticed the bolt won't, no matter what you do, you can't get it through the hole of the center of the rim. So that's a good thing. Some other things that we got installed here that I didn't talk about in the opening is, look at that nice brass diff cover right here. Oh, right there. The nice brass diff cover, except for that wheel's in the way. So we ordered some stuff from Entity. That is a 108 gram brass diff cover for the front. We're rocking the, I'll turn it around real quick for you here. You can see right there. We're rocking the stock red plastic diff cover on the rear. We just wanted to add a little bit more weight up front. Also, if you guys look in here, you can see right here, we put in the steering knuckles and casters. So you got the caster block here and the steering knuckle in there. We put in some Entity ones, and I'll put links to the description to all of these parts that we got installed. We're setting, as this bad boy is setting right here, we're setting it about $1,200 into this guy. Now, if you look at it, if I wanted to put all of these parts, and I will do a kind of a breakdown if you guys already have this and you want to add all of these parts that we're putting on today into the mix, we'll kind of do that math for you also. If we kind of turn it this way, you can see we got the skid plate on. We've got the skid plates front and rear on the diff. This thing weighs in at 20.3 pounds. Now, I have the corner scale system, which won't work on this. It errors out. I used my standard kitchen scale that I use for some of my 10th scale stuff just to weigh it. It errors that one out too. So I had to use my normal kitchen scale in order to weigh this bad boy, which weighed in at that 20.3 pounds. So what I did is I had to put and figure out how much my stand weighs, which I put that on my kitchen scale, and then I put all of this on my normal bathroom scale, got that weight, subtracted the weight for the plastic stand, and then it came out to be 20.3 pounds. So this is going to be a beast. We haven't added the electronics. We haven't added the body, the cage, battery to it, all of the LED lights we're going to put into this thing. We haven't added any of that too. So we're going to be probably another 7 pounds once we get all of that stuff put in, but we'll see. We're going to do a total weigh-in at the end. And how I'm going to actually do that is I'll probably even bring the scale in here and we'll put it on the scale so you guys can see the finished product. This is going to be the end of this video. We've got all of this pretty much installed. Like I said, that $1,200 is also including throwing in this servo, so we won't have that cost of the servo into the final. But I'll bring up that little spreadsheet number and we'll talk all about that in the final video and break it all down for you. And then we'll probably do a run video. We got to find a place to crawl this bad boy once we get all of that done. So I appreciate the wait. I know it's been a while. I started talking about this in my forums and in some of the live streams that I've done in the past about getting this bad boy built, but we're at the end of the first video. Stay tuned for the next video where we're going to be actually assembling the body, the cage. We're going to do the painting inside of the body. We're going to put all the LED lights in the cage itself, get it mounted up here, and we'll go over all those parts in a future video. But I appreciate you coming on this journey with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and bash that bell. I'm Stitch, SK Hobbies AZ, and I'm out.